Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So we've all heard the saying before, right? Be careful what you wish for. Well, the Democrats should have been a little bit more careful. One of the major issues being pushed by the Democrat Party over the last couple of years, really it's been more than a decade at this point, is the boogeyman of supposed voter suppression. We need more voters, they say. We need more people registered to vote. Now they're going as far to say that 16-year-olds should vote. The question, of course, is why? Well, because Democrats are convinced that the more people that vote, the more registered voters there are, the higher chance or the higher likelihood it is that they win. I don't even blame them. I mean, the logic is pretty sound. It does make sense, theoretically. Democrats do great with low information voters. People whose media algorithms are feeding them nothing but left-wing propaganda because they haven't exactly catered their political media algorithm environment. The more ignorant voters that vote, better it should be for Democrats. Therefore, the more people get automatically registered to vote, the better it should be for Democrats. And well, that right there is exactly what Democrats in Pennsylvania are currently trying to do, except we're seeing something a little bit unexpected, a little bit weird. As automatic voter registration kicks in, we are seeing a huge, and I mean huge, surge in Republican voter registration. Let me update you guys on all of it. As Pennsylvania Democrats enter full panic mode, we've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's start off first with the context, very important context. Here's an article from CBS News. Pennsylvania adds automatic voter registration when renewing your driver's license. Governor Josh Shapiro's administration said starting Tuesday it is making it easier for someone to register to vote when they are getting or renewing a driver's license in Pennsylvania. Under the new format, prompts on the computer screens in driver's license centers will take the user to a template to register to vote, then leaves it up to them whether they choose not to register. Previously, prompts on the computer screen first asked the user whether they wanted to register to vote. 23 other states and Washington, D.C. already have varying models of what is called automatic voter registration, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures. And so essentially, when you go to renew or when you go to get your first license, you'll have a computer option to register to vote. Now, obviously, I think this is part of the Democrat strategy. I think this is purposeful. The idea is that young people getting their license for the first time will register to vote, hopefully register Democrat, and we got another Democrat voter in the voting pool. But see, Joe Biden is so clearly unpopular. Democrats, I'd argue right now, are so clearly unpopular that there just isn't the enthusiasm there. And that's the important thing, right? Voter enthusiasm. We've seen all the metrics. Republican voter enthusiasm right now is booming. I mean, it's hot, red hot. Democrat voter enthusiasm is extremely low, and Democrat voter enthusiasm from young people is pretty much dead. And so we're seeing something interesting here. If you're not enthused to vote, you're probably going to skip the voter registration prompt, right? But if you're motivated to vote, you're going to register. And that's exactly what's happening. Scott Pressler on Twitter, or #ThePersistence, tweets this. Pennsylvania news. This is the second full week since PA implemented automatic voter registration. Here are the numbers. Plus 217 new registered Democrat voters. Plus 2,494 registered Republican voters. And plus 1,839 independent voters. Let's stick with the blue and red. Over the last 2 weeks, at a ratio of 10-1, we have seen more people register to vote as Republicans than Democrats. Folks, this is bad news, and I mean seriously bad news for the Democrat establishment. Pennsylvania is the state. If Joe Biden loses Pennsylvania, Joe Biden loses the 2024 election. That's pretty much how it works. We're talking about 20 electoral college votes. But more importantly, we're talking about one of the toughest swing states to win. If you win Pennsylvania, chances are you're probably going to win either Wisconsin or Michigan. Chances are you're going to win Georgia. And now we're even hearing that the state of Virginia might actually be in play this year. This state could be the deciding factor of the 2024 election. It's where the Democrats are putting all their focus. Here's an article from Politico. Pennsylvania is key for Biden. Democrats there say the party is in shambles. It's not just the presidential race at stake, a major state Supreme Court race is also happening this year. In anticipation of a major gathering of rural activists, a few weeks ago, the Pennsylvania Democratic Party printed out thousands of cards reminding voters to, quote, vote at polls Election Day, Tuesday, November 8th. There's just one small problem. Election Day is November 7th. So the party's in complete shambles. They can't even get the frickin' election day right. Voter registration is starting to shift significantly as Republicans continue to make gains, which is a trend that we've seen in most swing states over the last, let's call it 6 or so years, Pennsylvania Democrats are sounding the alarm that the Democrat Party is not ready for 2024 and that the risk of Donald Trump winning the 2024 election in the state of Pennsylvania is higher than it's ever been. And boy, is that true. If we take a look at polling data, for instance, the most recent poll conducted at the end of September into early October from Quinnipiac of all places shows Trump leading with a +2 lead. Joe Biden's leading the other two polls, again only by 2 percentage points. But if we take the average, it's within the margin of error. It's, I guess you could call a statistical tie, and the trend seems to be pushing one way and one way alone, and that's in the direction of conservatives, in the direction of a Trump 2024 blowout. And trust me when I tell you Democrats know this. They keep coping, telling themselves, well, Donald Trump can't possibly win, especially in a place like Pennsylvania, because independents hate him. It just simply isn't true. First of all, Trump's leading with independents in almost every swing state that I've seen. Secondly, it's simply too early. A lot of people are talking a big game. Yeah, we're still in the Republican nomination process. There's a whole lot of copium from, let's call it, center-right independents and the neocon faction in the Republican Party. They're trying to reject Donald Trump, but slowly they're coming to the realization that it's simply not going to work out that way, and that Trump is here to stay and they pretty much have no other choice. And so then it moves to the next portion. Heading into the next election, there's two choices: Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Pick your poison, I guess, is probably how a lot of people view it. Well, the more time goes on, the more people are jumping on the bandwagon, or the more people are realizing Trump's the guy, and so I just gotta stay with him. In fact, this seems to be happening at Fox News as well, the Center for Neocon Nonsense across the globe, where even vehement Trump hater Brit Hume essentially admits that, well, Trump was right, and that actually it'd be good to have him back.
Is basically a failed state now.
Here's the former president speaking about the reaction to all of this.
We reduced the Iranian economy, and I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, imposed the toughest ever sanctions on the regime. Joe Biden undid it. He undid it all and gave billions and billions of dollars to the world's top sponsor of terror, tossing Israel to the bloodthirsty terrorists and jihadists.
Britt, is he wrong?
He's not wrong about that, and whatever you think of Donald Trump and however you feel about him does not mean that the policies that he adopted on our border, on Israel's border, and in the Middle East were not preferable to the mess we've got now. And you see, Tony Blinken, and maybe U.S. intelligence doesn't back up what the Wall Street Journal is reporting, but I believe it, what the Wall Street Journal is reporting, and it means that not only do we have to recalibrate our attitude toward Israelis and Palestinians, but we need to stop the fantasy that we can do business with an honorable Islamic regime. There is no such thing.
And so as we see all the Trump contenders fall off one after another, Ron DeSantis is probably on the verge of calling it quits and conceding his campaign. The more time moves forward, the more people will realize that, yeah, they don't have a choice. It's either Sleepy, Creepy, Piss Pants Joe and the extreme socialist Democrat agenda, or it's Donald Trump. And welcome to politics, welcome to election season. Even the people who 2 weeks ago were saying that Donald Trump belongs in prison and is wrong for the country and is going to end democracy, yeah, even those people, now all of a sudden realizing they don't have a choice, are essentially going to become the biggest Trump shills across the board all over social media. It's the same thing every single year. On both sides of the political aisle, you'll see the far-left progressives during the nomination process crapping all over the establishment Democrat politician. This time, of course, it's Joe Biden. But then the moment they don't have a choice, all of a sudden they all become the biggest Biden shills. You see all the neocon anti-Trumpers, oh, he's the worst, oh, he's the worst. And then the moment they realize they don't have a choice, they all get in line. Essentially, the point that I'm trying to make is that right now, theoretically, should be the weakest time for Donald Trump. But it seems as though it's one of his strongest. He's leading in most battleground states. He's leading in the popular vote when it comes to hypothetical 2024 matchup polling data. Obviously, that's probably not going to translate to the actual election, but still, it's quite shocking considering he's usually down by like 10 points at this point. And slowly, very slowly, Democrats are starting to realize this. And well, like I said in the intro, 2 words: panic mode. Their latest little voter registration drive has backfired spectacularly, with only a measly 200 new Democrat registered voters. How utterly pathetic. Maybe I'm reading into it, or maybe this is a very small sign of what is to come as we move forward to Election Day. That's what I got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.